Welcome to Marketing Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. Here's your host, Stacy Jones.
Welcome to Marketing Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. I'm Stacy Jones, and I'm so happy to be here with you all today, and I want to give a very warm welcome to Kevin Roy. Kevin is the founder and CEO of Green Bananas SEO, a leading digital marketing agency specializing in driving organic search engine optimization results to help businesses succeed online. With over 24 years of experience in digital marketing, Kevin has built a successful career by providing visionary strategies for profitable growth. He has a proven track record across various industries, consistently delivering millions of dollars in revenue for both private and public organizations. Kevin excels in building collaborative relationships that improve business outcomes, enhance customer experience, and drives annual profit margins. And his dedication to assisting national brands in achieving higher conversions has earned his agency a well-deserved spot among the Inc. 5000's fastest growing companies. Kevin brings his deep knowledge of digital marketing and his expertise in leadership and innovation to enable clients to thrive in the digital age. Today, Kevin and I are going to be chatting about practical tips for driving profitable growth through SEO and how to improve customer experiences through collaborative relationships. We'll learn what works from Kevin's perspective, what should be avoided, and then how some businesses just miss the mark. Kevin, so happy to have you here. Welcome.
Thanks so much. Thank you for that introduction.
Of course, what I'd love to do is start off. How did you get here today? You've been in digital marketing for 24 years. You own your own agency for the last 15 years, and you've had some other agencies as well. But what is it about SEO and that gets you all ramped up?
So when we started the company, I started it with a partner that I ended up buying out, but we had originally built websites. So we had clients like HP and SAP and Salvation Army, and we were really fortunate enough to get some marquee clients to build web projects with. And we quickly found out that no web project finishes when you think it's going to finish, and we get paid in the beginning and the end. So we had to figure out a way to survive with some continuous marketing budget. And I was always, because building websites is almost like flipping houses, and you got to go find another one. And like, how can we get repeatable revenue? I've always been fascinated with SEO. I started reading it. We started offering it to our clients, and we started seeing success. And what came out of that was our great clients. When we presented SEO to them, they were saying, I remember spending all night writing a really big SEO report to present to a boardroom. And I went in and sleep all night, everyone had a binder. I brought it out. No one looked at the binder. And the CEO said, "So what are we paying you again for?" And I'd never heard that before, because when we build a website, they know what they're paying us for. And with SEO, I found that people just didn't understand what we were doing. Even in a room of exceptionally intelligent people, that's just not what they do. They didn't do SEO, so they just didn't know if we were making stuff up. And I said right in the middle of that room, "How about this? I know I can get you ranked on page one. You pay us if we get you ranked. If we don't get you ranked, don't pay us. But I'm not doing these reports anymore." And they were like, "Great." and that's
no one was looking at the reports anyways.
No, they weren't looking at them anyways. And that's what launched the pay for performance product.
And so for our listeners here who are like scratching their heads going, Kevin, I too do not really know what SEO is. Can you give us a brief of what is it? What does it mean when you say you do SEO?
So SEO is getting your page, not website, but page ranked for a specific keyword phrase. So if you're, SEO is optimizing your page so search engines can rank the page higher. There are two core principles to search engine optimization, and they both feed into one main principle, which is Google wants people to continuously using Google. So what they're doing is they're rewarding a good usability, and they're rewarding relevance. Those are the two things you have to focus on. The usability thing will make sense when I tell you, if the website doesn't work on mobile, someone does a Google search and they go to a site that doesn't work on mobile, they get frustrated and they leave. They go to a site without an SSL, they get a virus, they get frustrated and they leave. They go to a website and it takes 4 minutes to load, they get frustrated and they leave. So you want to fix all those things anyways, but Google is not going to give you great rankings if you're just frustrating people with your website. So that's the first principle. The second principle is relevance. So Google's job is to return the most relevant page, not website, but page for the keyword phrase that you type in. So if you Google basketball more often than not, it depends on, a couple factors, but Wikipedia outranks the NBA because that page tells the story of basketball and how it's scored and probably something about LeBron James or Michael Jordan and when it was founded. And then you can click a link to the town that it was founded in. So there's a really thick, complete everything you need to know about basketball on that page, which is why it ranks, the Wikipedia/basketball. So Google is rewarding you for having a page that's more relevant than anybody else for the keyword phrase that you're trying to rank for. Those are the two things that you have to worry about with SEO. If a principle doesn't align to either of those, it's usually bogus.
And so without using someone like yourself, what can people do, businesses do to better optimize themselves before they reach out for help?
So the first thing they need to do is decide what they want to be optimized for. So sometimes we have, one of my favorite examples is a really big insurance company and the CEO said, "Hey, I got this report and it has like red lines and things all over it. And I want to leave my SEO company and we want to work with Green Banana." And so I looked at his report and I searched every possible keyword phrase that I could find, and they were in the top 3. And I called them back and said, "You don't need, you're in the top 3 for every single word that matters. You may not like your SEO company. I'm happy to work with you, but they're doing a good job in this report. Every website with as many pages as you have has a report that looks like this." So the first thing, the most important thing, so they wanted to leave just because they didn't really understand what they needed to rank for or what SEO was. They just thought they needed better SEO. If you are ranking on page 1 for the keywords that you want your customers to find you for, you don't need SEO. If you're not, then you need to build a page that's relevant to that keyword phrase. So if you want to rank for landscaper in some particular town, then you need a page that says, "I'm a landscaper in this town." And you talk about all the landscaping services you do, and you try to have a little bit more content than everybody else that's on page 1, and you have a very good chance of ranking.
And so what you're saying right now is that if you look up your long tail keyword, also is what they're known. So if you type in something more than just one word, so you're actually
Yep.
getting Google to look in a specific area for you, and you look at all those other people and all those other companies who are listed on that first page or even that second page, and you see, what their websites pages are, as long as you create something that is more informative than what someone else is putting out, that includes the same words that you're using in your search, that's how you're going to start upping your ante on where your position is, whereas Google is featuring you.
So a lot of good SEOs will tell you that Google hides its secrets in plain sight. So if you look at, there's a reason that people are on page 1 for a keyword phrase, and all the information is right there. So if everybody on page 1 has 1,500 words on their page and you've got 400, there you go, right? If everyone on page 1 has 25 images with alt tags that are named the keyword phrase, and you got 1 picture, there you go, right? If everyone on page 1 has 500 links and you got none, there's that, right? So you just have to determine what that mix is
And do better than someone else.
and just have a little bit more. And yeah, you want to have a little bit more of not just one factor, but as many factors as you can have.
So when you're working with someone, what is the first step that you do with them besides figuring out what are the words that they're looking to rank for?
Well, if they know the keywords that they want to rank for, then we go in and do an analysis and say, all right, this is what it's going to take. This is how much work we have to do to get you to rank. And based on the amount of work, we know that it's probably going to cost this, and we think we can rank you, and it's probably going to take 2 months to start to get ranking, and you pay us when you get there. If they don't know the keyword phrases, then you can use tools like Ahrefs or Google Trends to go look at some, help identify some keyword phrases. If they know their keyword phrases and they don't want to commit to an SEO campaign because results can take a while, have them do a Google AdWords campaign, because you can get someone on page 1 in 48 hours in a Google AdWords campaign, and you can find out if ranking for that keyword leads to business for them.
And then what is the next step from there?
The next step is just to start, generating content, building out the page. Yeah, build out the page, write relevant content, put it on the page, make sure that it's structured properly, make sure that all those other like usability factors are like, does the page load fast? Does it work in mobile? I don't even think you can build a site that doesn't work in mobile anymore. So that's really not an issue. And then you have to go and go out, do some link outreaches to get links to those pages.
And so on that's either creating new content on the actual website itself or creating content under the blog on that website as well, correct?
Yeah, and I kind of say that that's the same thing. So Google, if you think about a blog, is just another HTML page. So Google can't distinguish between a blog page and your About Us page, right? And that is just another page. So if the content fits well in your main navigation, great. If it doesn't, put it in a blog. But you want to have one page. You want to draw a line in the sand. Like, I want, purple running sneakers for men. Like, I want to rank for this. You're gonna have a page that's just about that.
Okay. And where do people go wrong with this? Like other SEO companies or people trying to do this themselves? Is it that they think that this is going to happen overnight, which we know doesn't happen? Or do they go too big in trying to rank for the same word on multiple pages on their site? Or what do people kind of do that's jinky?
Well, I think you named a lot of great ones. It doesn't happen overnight. So the fastest we've ever been able to get a page ranked is 8 weeks, because and that's when we're doing the work ourselves, when we don't have to go through approval process. So it takes Google a while to see links and things like that. So it's not an overnight thing. I think where some people get stuck on trying to pick the latest and greatest tactics. So they'll read something about SEO and decide, I need this. I had a client call once and said, I need voice search. We're gonna hire this company to get us ranked in voice search. I'm like, it's a scam. You don't need that. And I said, do you really think that when the Alexa first came out, did it work when you said, where's the closest pizza place near me? And they're like, yeah, it worked great. I'm like, do you think that people registered for voice search before all the pizza places registered for voice search before the Alexa came out? Like, no, because they go and all Alexa does is go and look at the Google Maps page or the Bing pages, right? So that they're getting from sure. So people get stuck on gimmicky things. Another mistake that people make is they forget that relevance is all that matters. So relevance is all that matters. If you want to rank for the reason we call the company Green Banana, as I gave an example of, we were going to open up I gave an example of opening up a fruit store. And I said, pretend that Oprah wants to, Oprah said, if you eat bananas, you'll live forever. I couldn't find a yellow pen. I could only find a green pen. This is at a presentation that I gave. And what the mistake that a lot of people make is they build their fruit store page and they put apples and bananas and cherries and pineapples and, cantaloupe on the page. And they're like, why am I not ranking for cantaloupe or banana? It's because you've diluted the relevance with putting all the other fruit on the page. So you don't want to say, I do landscaping, yard cleanup, lawn care, edging, mulching in these 5 towns, right? You want to pick one keyword phrase and dedicate one keyword phrase to a page and create relevance. That's how you rank.
And then, so you don't want to try to, in that same ranking, do apples and bananas and oranges all in that one write-up that you're going to do, that you want to make sure that that page gets everywhere.
Right, because think about it. So you want to find bananas. Why would Google say, Google's job is to return, like, what's the most important page on the internet for that word? And they go to your page and they're like, well, there's bananas here, but there's also 5 other fruits. So it's not, it's not the most important thing. You want to dedicate an entire page to banana. So it's not easy. It's a pain to do, to have to write all these relevant pages. But if you want Google to recognize you as the most important page for that keyword phrase, then you got to write a page that just talks about that.
Okay. And then what, I bet, I'm assuming that you are able to leverage now a little bit of AI to help you with some of this writing and this content creation.
Yeah. So there's a good and a bad. You can't be lazy with AI. I'm a firm believer that when you read AI stuff, it's very, very predictive, and Google understands that it's predictive. There's no, I've read stuff about like code injected in AI so you can see it. That's baloney, because you cut and paste it and stick it in HTML. So it doesn't go there.
There's no code.
There's no code. There's no secret code. But if you put, AI is a very predictive path in what it's saying. So I took a long walk on the beach at, I was going to say night 99% of the time, right? So you want to say, with my dog and my best friend drinking a martini, right? It's a little bit different. So I think AI is awesome for building a structure. So if I have to write 4,000 words on a page, ChatGPT can help me with that. Then I have to go rewrite it. But it would take me 3 days to write 4,000 words. It takes me about 4 hours to rewrite something that Chat did. So if you're just a little less lazy, it's awesome. It's an awesome tool, but I would never take it, cut and paste, and jam it up onto a page.
Especially as an agency, you're not an expert inside of the businesses that you're writing about. I mean, that's the reality. You can only be,
right.
You can know a lot of information.
Right.
And like with our agency, we represent so many different brands under so many different categories that we do have, through the experience, a little bit of expertise on all things, but we're by no means the expert that the company is. And you're going to have the same thing. So having AI enable you to actually write in a point of view that is legitimate and good and
it's awesome,
actually, is phenomenal. It's groundbreaking.
Right. I mean, you don't have I'm guessing a PhD in molecular biology, and you have a client that does that. You can you can come to them with, hey, this is what I've got, and they're like, yeah, it's pretty good, right? And they'll make a couple tweaks to it, but yeah, it's great. I had to read this really long, like, legal document. And like, I just don't feel like calling my lawyer and paying hundreds of dollars an hour for her to read this. And so I put it into Chat. I'm like, what does this mean? And it spit it out. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Right? Like, it's a great tool for things like that.
It's a great tool until you're a lawyer who uses ChatGPT to discover your case law that you then quote the fake case law that ChatGPT provides to you.
Right. Yeah.
Real life scenario.
Couldn't agree.
And it's interesting because ChatGPT is not awesome when it comes to examples. It gets creative sometimes. And so it's super important that anything that AI is generating for you as a case study or a true example, that you actually go onto Google yourself and do a little search to make sure that that is real and actual real.
I agree. I was messing around with Bard the other day, and I asked it who owns Green Banana SEO. And it turns out that, according to Bard, I don't own the company. One of my employees owns it with me. I was like, oh, it's new news to me.
Where is that?
Yeah.
In the whole
where is it coming from?
Of online that it got confused about that.
And I sent her a text in a Slack, and she got a huge kick out of it. But it's like, that doesn't exist. It's nowhere.
Does that mean that she gets to help take on the responsibility and the taxes
she thinks,
and everything else?
Apparently, yeah.
I mean,
I just say, hey, Bard said this, so
it must be real.
Yeah, come to the next finance meeting, right?
How else are you using AI at your agency right now?
I started messing around with AI video. So instead of me doing a video, because I'm not great at it, I think it's Cynthia. I'm going to say it wrong. It's like Synthesisa SIO or something, and they have all these. I think they're real people that they've used as almost like casts, right?
Okay.
And you can type something, and a person will actually speak. So if you Google geofencing agency, we're page one, number one for that, and that woman that's speaking is completely fake. I have no idea who it is.
So
I
it's a
didn't have to.
talking head with a voice automation.
I didn't have to cast her to do it. I literally wrote the script and stuck it in there, and 15 minutes later, it pumps out a person that's talking.
And did she look
Super
really
cool.
legit and real, or was her mouth a little off just a little bit?
It's funny. I actually picked the people not based on appearance. I picked it whose mouth moved the best. So I liked the way, it's not perfect, but I thought it was pretty good. And
Right.
one of the things that I do is I didn't do it on this one because I'm still messing with the page, but you make the video smaller, right? Because if you make her really big, then you can see everything. But if you make it smaller, it looks like her mouth moves a little bit better.
There's I was playing the same thing a few nights ago of trying to figure out how to make my own talking head so that you can actually get it to do yourself now and then
so cool.
Talking. And
so cool.
It will be so fantastic when that actually happens. I mean, just imagine this is a whole new level of TikTok.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's incredible. I mean, we had a client that wanted to see a sample site. So we built a sample site for a client, and I went to a logo generator on AI, and I just threw it up, and I said, "Hey, I just threw this logo up for fun." He was like, "Oh, I love it. It's perfect." Like, oh, all right. It took 5 seconds in AI to generate that logo. We didn't charge him for it, but it was like this is just a placeholder, but it came out with some really cool looking things.
Yeah. And we're looking at replicating, creating new imagery for a number of different projects, including our blogs in different ways. And we have been working with a variety of different AI where you can actually describe the setting, the scene that you want, and it will just create that image specifically how you want it. It's a little weird. It's not perfect, but it's good enough that if you have some Photoshop skills, you could go in and you could adapt it, and you can create imagery that is absolutely copyright free, trademark free, free for you to use. So cool. Shout from the rooftops about it. And it's decent, and it's getting better.
What's your favorite?
I cannot tell you that because I do not remember right now. It would be great if I could say that, and then if I in a minute remember, I will tell you which one I liked the most.
I used Midjourney.
That was Midjourney was one.
Midjourney
it's hard.
I know I had a hard time. I got it to do a bunch of variations of the green banana, and it looked super phallic, which was funny, but it's just spit out stuff that didn't look like what I wanted to look like. But I figured other people are really, really good at the prompts, and I just have to learn how to be better.
Well, I mean, a lot of our AI tools that we have, like we use Jasper as an example, and it has a art replication capabiliation, but I think it's very much like your phallic green banana. That was my experience with it.
It's trying, right?
It's gonna get there though. I mean, that's what's so amazing. Like, it just even playing with it, for all of our listeners, like if you haven't opened up ChatGPT, or you haven't opened up some of these different platforms that are free for you to try, it is so worth it, even if it's not perfect, because this is the wave of the future. And if you can figure out how to use it, and more so, if you can figure out how to bring it in and let your team start using it and playing with it and making them feel like it's okay for them to do something that a lot of people are saying, oh, their go-to is that it's cheating. And you're going to have a much stronger company if you can actually figure out how to use tools that are coming of age right now.
Right. I couldn't agree more. I tell everyone here, I'm like, you need to drink the Kool-Aid. Just try it out, have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
You don't have to use it, and don't copy and paste, but it's kind of a fun tool. AI's, I'm having a blast with it.
Well, I will say, even if you can bring it into your personal life, if you don't even keep it into work, like I'm trying to figure out how to move my 80-year-old mother who's lived in her house for 49 years in Texas. It's a big task, right? So I fed that in. I think I wrote, I'm overwhelmed. I'm not sure what to do. And I have to move my 80-year-old mother in, as she has X number of cats. And what it gave me a list of 12 things I could do, including helping her with therapy. By the way,
That's so
it
great.
said this is going to be a problem for her. You should have her find help. But it gave, for the feral cats, here's examples of how you could actually do. You should consult your vet. They could give you something for the drive. Like it went step by step by step by step. And
That's amazing.
it's like therapy in a box almost for you,
Right.
or your own
Right.
assistant.
Or one idea that you're like, I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Just one little
super
thing.
Cool.
And we do it, we feed in a lot of our email correspondence to clients for new pitches, anything that we might be doing that's copywriting, social media content for our agency, social media content for clients, asking it to add in emojis for you. There's so much that you can do that it just takes it, adapts it, spits it out, and you might still be tweaking it. But sometimes it's 99.9% there, and sometimes it's 20. But you won't know unless you try, and you have to learn the prompts in your head to make it do what you want.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Where do you think this is going to affect SEO with AI?
So one of the things that I'm really having a hard time wrapping my head around is the amount of content that Google has to process now. So think about the fact that we just met each other today. We're both using it. It's only been around for a couple months, so we're early adopters. But think about the example that I gave, that it would normally take me 3 days to write this much content. I don't have 3 days, so I just wouldn't bother doing it. And I could spit out 4,000 words in 4 hours. There are people that are probably spitting out 4,000 words in 4 minutes or 4 seconds. And think about how much more data is going out onto the internet, and Google has to crawl through that. So I actually think it might make SEO a little bit easier because Google's not going to have the computing capability to employ all of its SEO algorithms to search all those for every single factor. I think it might actually start choking a little bit.
Do you think so? Like, I think about like our agency, we have over 1,600 blogs that we've written since 2012. It's a lot of blogs, right?
Yeah.
And we're great and optimized on some pages and not on others. And there's lots we could dial in on that. But as someone who's produced all that content and written it by hand, had our team write it, we wrote it over and over. I wrote a lot of it. My concern is there's such a glut of content now coming that all that hard work that I did over the years is just going to be kind of wiped out because now anyone can race in and replace.
Yep. So I think there's 2 ways to look at that. Don't think about it because there's nothing.
There's nothing I can do about it, so I'm not going to worry about it.
It's going to eat you up inside. I agree. But the other piece is that, like I think I alluded to before, that people that are lazy, I think it's going to pick it up. Right. So you can't, like, if you want to rank something organically, just putting something in AI and sticking it on your page is not gonna get it to rank. It's a piece of the puzzle, and it allows you to get there a little bit faster, but there's still a bunch of things that you have to do to generate and create relevance. So I think you're going to be, and if your blogs are ranking already, and you build more and you build links to them, or there's, add a little bit more content, that you're going to have a leg up too. Right.
So for all of our listeners out there, what would your suggestions be on how they step forward in seizing the moment for blogging and writing?
So if you haven't tried ChatGPT, try ChatGPT, because it will get you started. It's going to help you with writer's block because it's going to come out and say something. And even if you're like, this isn't what I want, I guarantee you you're going to find something in there that you can glom onto. Pick your poison. If you want to rank for something, you have to pick your relevance. Do not write for the sake of writing. Even before the advent of AI, there was so much data on the internet that it's just adding a cup of water to the ocean. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. So you have to say, I draw a line in the sand. This is what I want to rank for. And then you start creating content around that.
And one of the things I want to caution listeners as well on, don't think that just writing is going to make them come when you sit there and you post and it's there. A lot of this is, what are you doing with the content as well? I mean, you're writing for Google SEO, and so people can find you and they'll find and discover your website, but there's so many other reasons to write. You can write to solve answers that your clients consistently have. And then you can actually send them the articles you've written so that they can be educated, and they'll be more impressed that you actually have articles, that you're an expert and you're a thought leader. You can take what you've written and turn it into new content, ebooks that you then post up there, string together a variety of different articles and then create a landing page and gate it so that people have to give your email address in order to get this cool ebook that you have. You can take all of the content you've written and you can create awesome social media and feed it out, because you need to actually get it out there for people to see it. You could put Google advertising behind it and boost it and do a very specific targeted B2B or B2C campaign. Right. So writing is just the first step, and using the AI is first step, and SEO is a very awesome thing to get people to find your website, but everything that you're creating, you can actually use to market and advertise too.
Absolutely. And anytime if you take your blog and you repurpose it on Insta or Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, and you link it back to your site, those are links or hashtags or relevant links. So those things will all help drive traffic to those pages.
Now you can take your blogs and turn them into videos as well.
Right.
And like, there's tools out there that aren't AI, but they're a little AI-ish. Like Magisto is something that we've used, and that's great for photos. You can throw a ton of photos, I'll make a video story out of it. What I really like is a company called Lumen 5. It will feed your blog in, it will create automatic imagery from that and headlines. A lot of times you'll see a lot of news organizations come out with videos in your feed, and they use either Lumen 5 or something very similar to that to create that
that's cool.
chunky content. And it's super affordable and easy to do. So there's a lot of tools that will help you be able to master everything that we're talking about a little bit better. So Kevin, you and I were, when I first introduced you, I said that one of the things we'll talk about is how to improve customer experiences through collaborative relationships. What does that mean to you, a collaborative relationship?
So one of the things that we do with pretty especially if we're running like a really complicated paid media campaign. So we don't just do SEO, we do pretty large scale paid media campaigns. And we try to learn as much as we can about the client's business. And then we spend a lot of time teaching them about what we do and why we're doing it. And then we also will interview their salespeople and have their salespeople on our weekly calls, because what we find out is that we're growing like a relationship and a bond, but when we learn more about the client and the client learns more about what we're doing, then the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. And so all of a sudden you're having salespeople who know nothing about digital marketing in the beginning say, hey, have you thought about trying this? And we'll be like, oh, that's a really good idea. So we're taking their knowledge with our knowledge, and the campaign just becomes better. And it also, one of the things that I think I would say my biggest pet peeve of running an agency is sometimes in the beginning of a relationship, you have to have this posturing where you're trying to convince them that you're just not making stuff up, because they don't understand what you do. And I really try to get over that as quickly as possible. I'm like, hey, what do you need to know? We'll tell you everything so we can get past this silly song and dance and get on to start getting you results. And I think, and that ends up creating relationships. And next thing you know, the budgets get higher, you get referrals, that close literally without even having to do a presentation, from things like that.
I think you're in a field that it's amazing to me, because I think SEO is very straightforward on what you need to do. It's very black and white.
Right.
There's absolutely strategy to it, but there's also parameters that you work within in order to get the effect. The world I work in as an agency, what we do is we work with brands and put them in movies and TV shows and influencer marketing and celebrity endorsements. That is very different. That is not as black and white. It's very ethereal in how it actually impacts. And so I love the fact that so many people, though, are confused by what you all do. And it's like this magical mystery tour of SEO, the world of unknown.
Yeah, it's not magic, right?
And most of the people like you who own agencies who do SEO, I mean, they're very pragmatic. They know what works. We test A, we do B, we know what actually happens. And we can show you, and the fact that you've built a business that is able to be paid based on your performance of what you succeed.
Right. There's no one in a cape running around making magic happen.
You're not a Google whisperer?
No, I'd like to be. But...
Well, how can our listeners find you?
So they can go to greenbananaseo.com, or I kept forgetting my business card, so I bought IJustMetKevin.com. You can go to IJustMetKevin.com and it'll take you to my contact information.
That is awesome. And it's easy because you can't spell Kevin that many ways.
No.
Very straightforward.
Right.
Well, that will also be in our show notes for anyone who is listening right now and you are not able to take a note down because you are driving or walking your dog. You can go to our show notes and find that. Kevin, thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate your time and sharing your insights and thoughts with all of our listeners.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Is there any last parting advice you have today?
Well, when it comes to SEO, make sure you know what you want to optimize for, or don't bother doing SEO.
And you would think that would be pretty simplistic, but I have a feeling that you meet many people who that's a bit of a conundrum for them.
They get caught up in the I need SEO. What for? Right.
And then I would also assume, as I'm sitting here saying, hey, we're leaving, I would also assume that figuring out SEO and what you need to rank for could actually help you narrow your vision as a company of what you actually should be doing and what you should be selling.
Great. Yeah, I agree.
So to all of our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Marketing Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. I look forward to chatting with you this next week. And until then, have a great one. If you have any questions about that mystical world that I do work in, product placement and celebrity endorsements and influencer marketing, please reach out to Hollywood Branded. I would love to chat with you or have you connect with our team. And until we speak again, have a great one.